Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play LSD. I'm your host TPC Gamer, and in our last episode, I noticed a programming quirk which denotes when the Grey Man is going to show up. Now admittedly, it's only one map with one music pattern and it's only a tenth of a second warning before he physically shows up, but it's still a great way of me feeling smart. And I love it when I find those. And just to ensure that I don't get too smart, the game shows me text that I cannot read. Thank you, game. I wonder how many of these videos have begun with a text dream like that. I know that it's more than a few by a lot. And I'm sure that it's just chance and all that, but it really feels like the game is just screwing with me sometimes, you know? Anyway, let's give it another go, and hopefully this time, we'll not get another text dream. Let's get down to some actual content, LSD the Dream Emulator. I mean, I'll grant you that seeing the game world won't help me understand anything more in the game compared to a wall of text, but it's still fun to see what the game thinks I should be seeing. Like absolutely nothing, for example. Well, if it's the game's decision, isn't that really for the best? Although actually, it probably is for the best, because all this stuff in the game shows up at random, and I don't have proper pacing control. So, if I could trigger it, episode 1 would be me showing off literally everything in the game, and then 99 episodes of me just bumbling around aimlessly. I'm much the same when it comes to chocolates or whatever. I say that I'll only have one, but I don't define what one actually means, and it usually ends up being one entire box of chocolates. But that's fine, because nothing feels as good as chocolate tastes. That's what I always say. And am I meant to be here? I haven't done it for a while, so I forget, but I'm pretty sure the window is meant to send me anywhere other than the Fortress of Doors. Maybe it's because I went into it backwards. I still haven't gotten over that particularly silly habit. Anyway, what is the score? Collapsing room. I can't even begin to think what you represent in my all-encompassing alien theory, but you know, I'm sure that it's something reliable and amazing and entirely accurate and true because I am not just making stuff up. Ooh, and I'm outside. I wonder if I'm anywhere near the Violence District. Hey! Nice! I know I say that every time I come to a rock corridor, but this time it's paid off. And I kind of feel like this is my video gamey version of good old rock. Nothing beats that. I wonder where this tunnel goes. I mean, in terms of the level geometry, I mean. I know that it goes to the Violence District because, well, check it out. Here I am. Okay, you guys saw that, right? Looks like the Grey Man got hot when I wasn't looking. In as much as the models in this game can look hot. Hey! Hi, how's it going? Why are there two of you? This isn't supposed to happen. I'm pretty sure the one over here just loses her head and moves on. So I'm gonna choose potentially dead girl number 1 and see what happens. My guess is something spooky. Whoa. You chose poorly. Although with that said, I'm pretty sure that's what both of them would have done. Although maybe the other one would just fall to the floor rather than walking a little bit first. I don't know. I don't know a lot of things about this game, you guys. My terrible secret is out, and I'll never be respected in the internet word-saying community ever again. So let's hurriedly move on. The rumors have it that you can make this bear run away by approaching it. I don't quite... Is he stretched horizontally? Because he sure as hell looks like it. Looks like a creepy Photoshop disaster. So yeah, apparently you can make the bear run off, but I don't know how to make it happen. And you know, I keep talking about the bear as if he represents an attacker, but what if he does represent an attacker, and I've got it wrong? Like, what if he's not attacking you, but somebody else? Oh, thanks for spawning me up here, game. You've saved me the hassle of walking. But yeah, what if the bear is an assailant that you have caught in the act? I mean, much of the same symbolism would apply, but the text on the TV that says, "I'm going to kill you," isn't the attacker talking to his victim, but the savior threatening the attacker. Now, admittedly, it's not a particularly good answer either, because it still involves somebody getting attacked. Why can't things just go well in my hypothetical scenarios without just being dreadful? And I'm checking the wrong place, aren't I? The monster doesn't show up beside the moon. Truly, I am Clever Dan. And I see no reason not to go downstairs. Actually, there's plenty of reasons. It's coming up on lunchtime. I could really go for a sandwich. Or a nap. I said as much before, but my spirit animal is basically just Snorlax. So, if you want to know how to keep me happy, that's how to do it. Sleep and sandwiches. And HMO3. That is some stellar level geometry, LSD. I know it's pretty hard to make folks look up in video games, but there's no reason to just not put in the ceiling. Or the floor from the look of things. Oh, don't be like that, game. I didn't mean it. I love it when you don't play how you're meant to. See, I knew you loved me, really. I also love it when you mash me into the level geometry. Okay? Was there really any point to that if you're just going to wake me up and give me a lousy ending? Well, now I know just to let the game break and not draw attention to it. It's a feature, not a bug, and all that. Although one of my favourite things is when game companies take bugs and just run with them. Or fan lore. That's another good one. And Mortal Kombat does a lot of both, and I kind of like the series for that. And only that. Oh, we're back in the pagoda. With this tile set too, I've not seen you for quite some time. Kind of a shame the way the game is programmed, because sometimes you get really good tile combinations, and the game doesn't let you see them. But it's letting me see it now, so rejoice, LSD guys, and let's keep on going. Kind of nice if you could have like a fog and a skybox in this particular map, like a purple night sky or something, because that's beautiful. But I can see why they don't, because the moon has a black outline around it, so that it blends into the background. It would look pretty bizarre if it had that with, like, purple skies. Oh, the moon's purple, so that's some consolation. Looks like a giant Parma violet. Not really, though. Which is for the best, because Parma violets are pretty dreadful. I don't know if this is going to show up in the video, but I didn't move. That guy dragged me off the balcony, and apparently set me down outside. I really hope that's me discovering a new game behavior rather than my controller breaking, but hey, you never know. Because yeah, I'd like to imagine that pagoda is the same one we were just inside. It's unlikely, because the pagoda we were just in is surrounded by several other towers which don't exist in Dreamworld Kyoto, but I like to think that's where we were. And now we're in the middle of the dream chart. Although I can actually see why they do it this time, because we didn't really do anything, just looked around and woke up. And I'm kind of in two minds about this. I like the idea that we're getting closer to the end of the game, less so that we're doing it at a quick rate. I really like playing this game wherein nothing much happens and I'm free to just ramble on. What on earth am I going to use as a between games game when I'm done with this? Something from this decade, perhaps. Or the one before it. I like that joke. Good way of future-proofing your jokes and maintaining a sense of self-awareness. Nothing? Well, this is also self-awareness. The game doesn't want me to do anything. It's one of the weirdest things. I have designs to do all kinds of games, but I've never really begun any of them. No test playthrough, no notes, nothing. And I've bought quite a few games specifically to play them for this channel, but I never even played them for myself. That sounds like somebody's Steam library, you ask me. I don't know why people do that. I really do, because I do it, and I don't know why. Like, I get so hyped for the games I bought, and then I put them on a shelf and I ignore them. It's partly the vicious cycle of work versus gaming. If I work, I don't have time for games. If I don't work, I can't afford them. Now, what would be ideal would be if I could just have lots of money without actually doing anything. And I think that's why I strive so hard to reach middle management, because that's basically been my experience with 10 years of retail. I'm kind of jaded like that. I think I'm going to go and take a look at the bin full of body parts, because I haven't done it for a while. I think it's a nice way to sort of mix up the videos. And a super creepy way to mix up the videos. The fiddle trigger. And they kind of talk about this in the Dream Diary. Come to think about it, there's one entry that talks about this bucket full of body parts that's consistently filling up from the bottom, and it's just throwing arms and legs all over the floor. Oh, and incidentally, there are 2 copies of this video on the disc. And they're right next to each other in terms of asset use, and it suggests that there are 2 things that summon this video. But if that is the case, I don't know what the second item is. Because the bin full of body parts always summon this when you bow your head, but I don't know what the second object is, or why it got me a psychotic upper. Would you look at that? That is amazing! Wow, I am very glad that I did that. Oh, and check it out, we have one on 2 separate extreme edges. That is a neat little feature. So yeah, the video of flying over the Violence District, it's on the disc twice, but I don't know why, because it's the only duplicated asset. And I wonder if they were meant to put a different file on there, like a separate video, but they accidentally put the same one on there twice. I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I'm pretty sure I'd get the asset use right. That's for sure. If I can say it. I'm gonna see if those mushrooms are there. They were the last couple times, so let's... Actually, no. Am I going to go into the sex garden? I'd like to do that at all times, every time. I mean, if I had a place that I could reliably call the sex garden, I don't think that I would ever leave. Because I'm a guy. I go for mindless hedonism in all things. Okay, let's explore. My hope is that the rabbit and the bear will spawn, and then I get to do something with them beyond just looking and linking away. Will this happen? Probably not, because the game doesn't like me enough to do what I want. Clearly. You know, I am gonna go and try something. I'm gonna try and walk along the writing to see if that does anything to affect the dream. I mean, I'm gonna say no, because why would they plan for that kind of player pathing? But they sometimes forget what level of the Z-axis we're operating on, you know? Okay, let's go. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I'm expecting this to achieve, but I'm not entirely sure what this entire playthrough is going to achieve, so I'm being consistent. Start as you mean to go on. Rambling to the point of non-coherence and being generally confused by everything. Also, this is an accurate look into me just roaming town day to day, head down, staring intently at the floor as I'm approaching somebody who owes me money. And I guess it's time to head off. Yes, didn't really achieve anything, so let's move on and go do something else. To the great outdoors! Oh, and that is a pretty nice calming sight to see after the deep red haze that sent me here. I think anything is a nice calming sight after a red haze. I mean, when you see it, it's generally associated with the idea that you're so angry you can't even see straight. Oh, and that is a super cool effect that I totally don't understand. How comes they're away in the black draw distance, but they are showing up as white? And why are only the tree trunks showing up as white, but the leaves aren't? Possibly because the leaves are textured, and the trunks are not. Again, though, that is my best guess as to what's going on, based on what I know of the game's engine. You know what they say about best guesses, right? Good. Because that means that I don't need to explain it, and just justify the thing that I just now started to say. What is that black patch? I guess we'll never know. I think we're gonna have one more. How many times have I said that and proceeded to like 5 more in the same video? Plenty of videos. I don't know, I don't keep track of everything I say or do in these videos. I just have vague recollections of what I have and have not said. Whoa. Okay, this music is a little bit crazy. What the hell is this? Oh, it's the Monument Park. Of course it is. But in this colour scheme. Because I really like this colour scheme. Especially the tower over here. You know why? Reminds me of Pogs. And I think everybody that had Pogs had a slammer with this exact colour scheme. And it was all like silvery and metallic, like a physical copy of oiled metal. oiled metal is one of the coolest things, by the way. And you look like whatever the off-brand kind of Pogs was called. Like Slammer-Whammers or something like that. The ones that tried so hard to be Pogs, but somehow they were just inferior. I don't know how or why, they just were! Mom, I explained this like 1,000 times. Duh. And you look like a big flower. Kind of appropriate, because it's like tulips from Amsterdam, given form of windmills from Amsterdam. And you like you've got moss growing all over you, or vines and stuff. That's one of my favourite sights. Huge, elaborate man-made structures that have been abandoned and taken over by nature. Like Chernobyl, or that one creepy UFO village in Korea. Now, why do you suppose only the Sphinx's head that has been coloured in? Because the body always looks like that, doesn't it? Or is it meant to have more sandstone-y texture on the tiger stripes in you? I don't know. I've not paid any attention to him for a while. I think I'm going to head out. Nothing much is going on. I mean, I walked through the bridge, though, so that's new. Didn't know you could do that when you were regular-sized. Suppose it makes sense. Seems like it was only the model that has a hitbox, and I'm getting away from you. Did anybody else just see that? You're trolling me, game. I'm talking about hitboxes, and you're throwing spooky guys at me. I want to see that. I'm going to go somewhere else. The natural world it is. And I'm safe with the Grey Man out here, so let's do. Kinda forgot where that sentence was going halfway through. But that's okay, because we are going ahead. That is not the one with balloons in it. Did I make that mistake the last time I was here too? Man, even in my screw-ups I'm a creature of habit. Hey, there they are! They look kind of plain with the default tile set. Green, grey, brown, what a boring selection. I wonder if you can do anything with them. I don't think so. I mean, certainly not from the wrong side of the hole, that's for sure, so let's go take a look. And why are there two of them now? I didn't see the other ones spawn. I didn't know this game spawns stuff without you looking at it to trigger it. Interesting. I say interesting. Not entirely sure to whom. I mean, me, yes, but who else? Maybe I missed the mark when I've been doing these videos. If I missed the mark here, I can't move past that gap in the floor. So, let's backtrack and go somewhere else. I think it's a shame they limited the controls in this game exclusively to being on the ground. I mean, a jump button would be fun. It would also be choppy as anything, because you can't walk particularly smoothly. Why would you be able to float pretty well? And it would break the game pretty handily. Just flying all over the place, finding things that do not do and don't have collision detection. It's always interesting, the stuff that doesn't have collision detection. Because very often, you do it by surprise, and you just fall into a skybox. And that'd be one of the most nightmarish things to ever happen, if it happened in the real life. You're just strolling along, and suddenly the floor gives way beneath you, and you vanish into the void. The void of whatever lurks in the middle of the earth. I don't know. Clipping isn't a thing that actually happens, so it could be absolutely nothing. And I think that's one of the reasons that clipping bugs are as scary as they are, because video games look pretty lifelike, and they have done for a while now, so you can kind of forget you're playing a game, and to suddenly get jarred back into reality, it's pretty bizarre. So I'm going to link with you. And you know, speaking of video game graphics, when I saw the boat landing scene in Final Fantasy VIII, I saw that scene and went, this is the best that games will ever look. Boy, was I wrong. I suppose that's what you get for growing up with 8-bit graphics. I also remember reading about the design brief for Final Fantasy X-2, which introduced QuickTime events, and I remember thinking, what a good idea. Again, boy was I wrong. Take me somewhere good, tree. Ah, Happy Town is a pretty good place. I'll go for that. Admittedly, there's only like 3 or 4 maps you could have chosen from, so my chances of coming here were pretty good, all told. I'm going to spin the wheel once more. I'm guessing the Violence District. Usually happens that way when you go from Happy Town. Oh, yep, there it is. I think it's an irony thing more than anything else, you know? Ah, well. I'll probably talk about the plot point next time. Probably not, though. Join us next time to see what's up. And until next time, goodbye.